We acknowledge the traditional owners and custodians of the lands on which we work and pay our respects to the Indigenous elders past, present and emerging. Sovereignty has never been ceded. It always was and always will be Aboriginal land. The following production was filmed, written and produced on Wurundjeri and Boonwurrung lands.
This production includes media and discussion around topics such as sexual assault, domestic violence, stalking, physical violence, and identity-based discrimination and harassment. We acknowledge that this content may be difficult. We encourage you to care for your safety and well-being and leave the show at any time if you feel uncomfortable. If you need immediate help or counselling, please call Lifeline on 13 11 14.
My name is Rachel Palms, date of birth 10th of the 7th, 97.
Samantha Wingrave, May 22nd, 1997.
My name is Etta Johnson. The birth date is 16th of September 1995.
Mackenzie Ellsworth, the 14th of February 2000.
I would have woken up at about 3-ish. No, I don't normally get up that early. My phone was ringing again.
Ringing.
It just wouldn't stop the entire night. It was from a private number, no caller ID, but I knew it was him. It's always him.
Hey, I had a pretty crazy day yesterday. And I think I just need to talk you through it so I can sort of make sense of it all. Yeah. I got up early. It was 6:30, so that I could take pictures of the sunrise. I know it's cliche, but I have that project due soon, and I always take cliche photos first, so then I can get them out of the way and then get to taking the good stuff. And I got this photo of this woman sat up on her windowsill smoking, and she just looked serene isn't the right word. Maybe contemplative? I don't know. But then she started yelling at me for taking it.
I woke up in a bad mood, that's for sure. I'd had a particularly bad fight with a housemate the night before, and I think I just woke up still reeling from it. So I would have had a dart at my window and then maybe a coffee, I'm not sure. Wait, no, yeah, definitely a dart. Oh no, I remember now, because that woman took a bloody photo of me, and then I yelled at her for a bit. I don't tend to yell at strangers normally. It's just, I knew I was in for a big day and I was already in a mood. Rent was due. That was what the fight was about with the roommate. And I was already behind, very behind, and she'd given me till the end of the next day. She's probably throwing my shit out as we speak. Anyway, sorry. So yeah, dart, yelled at lady, and then then I made the phone call to my sister. She's the only person from my family I still speak to, and the only person I know with any money. So I called her.
And then I got a call. It was from an unknown number, but I picked it up and it was a hospital. This was at about 9:30. They said to me, "You're pregnant." And look, to anyone who knows me, they know just how long I have been waiting for those words to be said to me. So it was a very emotional morning, that's to say the least. But that whole morning, all I was thinking about was baby names. I was thinking, like, what is a great name?
Mackenzie.
It would have been about 10 o'clock when I was dying for a coffee. There's this place I always go on Bridge Road. I've been going with my parents since I was really small. There's usually the same guy on the coffee machine, and we chat. But it was strange this time because Well, this time when I left, there was a phone number on the cup.
And I got this letter in the letterbox, and it didn't have a post stamp on it. So you had to put it in personally. And I recognised his handwriting straight away on the envelope. And I wasn't going to give him satisfaction. I wasn't going to read it. So I should have put it in the bin, but I put it on my desk and I just kept looking at it and looking at it. And curiosity killed the cat, apparently, because I read it. And all it said was, "I know you still love me."
Oh my God, I'm exhausted. I think I'm still processing, honestly. Yesterday was just huge. Spent most of the morning running around trying to find things to sell, which seems stupid now. I knew I could sell the record player that my aunt gave me, you know, that huge vintage looking thing, and that'd be enough, easy to get me rent money. Those things go for a bomb in the right circles. So I chucked up on Gumtree, figured that was the easiest way to do it. I do feel a bit guilty. I don't know, selling it. I know she won't mind. You know, she'll just want to make rent, but still feels a bit weird, you know. I suppose it's kind of like the only part of her I've got around.
I then called my twin sister. I asked her if she'd like to make a dinner reservation for us that night at a restaurant, because I felt like I needed to tell my sister this news face to face. Like, you know, we've been through so much together. I just felt like it was appropriate telling her this way. You know, she's my rock, and she also only lives 5 minutes down the road from me. And then I remember I looked at the time. It was about 11 o'clock in the morning. So I had to start heading to work.
I left at about 12 because I needed to go to the locksmith because I lost my keys, which is great. New apartment, lost my keys. So good thing is it's just around the corner, so I just walked.
And it's crazy, right? Because I know this guy. I see him most days when I get a coffee, and we talk a lot. And, you know, we've talked about sexuality and like specifically. So it just doesn't make sense about why he would put his phone number on my cup, right? Because he knows that I'm arrow ace, a romantic asexual. We've talked about this before. And I don't know, it's like asking someone who you know is a lesbian to go out with you. Like, he wouldn't do that, so why would he ask me? I don't know. It feels like if you just wanted to be friends, right? Ask for like my Facebook profile name or like my Instagram handle or whatever, so we can message or arrange to meet outside of work. You don't put your name on a coffee cup. That is a pickup line.
I then got home from work and I decided it was time that I call my mum and tell her the news. Yeah, I was feeling extremely nervous before the phone call, but, you know, I knew deep down that she'd support me, and she told me she understands and that she's still proud of me no matter what. You know, she had myself and my sister at a very young age as well, and I mean, I feel even safer about the situation now with my mum's support behind me. I mean, she's the most beautiful woman in this whole world. Like, I've always felt safe in this world knowing that she's my mum, you know. I've always felt protected by her.
But after last night, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I can't stop thinking, like what if that ever happens to my child? Like, what if I can't protect my own child from that? I would never forgive myself, you know? And it's just something I've never even thought of until last night. But now it's like the thoughts are just consuming me or something.
I grew up with my aunt and my uncle. My sister and I both did. We're not close with them anymore. My aunt was a wonderful person. Sorry. She's kind. She really looked after my sister and I. She protected us from a lot. My uncle, he was hard to be around. I know my aunt bore sort of the brunt of most of it, so we didn't have to. But we still saw it, my sister and I. Kids understand a lot more than you give them credit for. I mean, don't get me wrong, we had a good childhood. People have it much worse. But we were scared all the time. I don't know, you would think it might have brought us closer, me and my sister, but I think it sort of just pulled us apart.
And then I got the final shot at 2, which is crazy because you never get good shots at 2. Sorry, that light is so bright. Hang on. There we go. And so I got that final shot at 2, and I don't know, it was really great. I really, really love the shot. And it's definitely the one I'm going to submit. It's like you can see the road, and then on the other side you can see the footpath with people walking across it. And it sort of says to me, throughout your day, do you take notice of who you're walking behind and what they might be going through? And I guess after last night, it just feels more... The word profound makes it sound wanky, but I guess that's how I feel. But feeling good about this picture is... Well, it's making me feel guilty. I feel bad for feeling good after what I saw. And I feel bad for feeling bad. Does that make sense? It's like, it feels like I'm trying to make it about me, and it's really not about me. It's about her.
After last night, after going over it and seeing what we saw, it just got me thinking. I think about everything, about growing up with my aunt. I think I've been angry with her all this time, and even back then, I just could never understand why she wouldn't just leave. Like, to me, that seems like the most black and white thing in the world. If someone treats you like shit, you get out. And that's what we did. My sister and I, we left as soon as we could. It's probably a lot more complicated than that for her, though. I don't know. And it was probably worse than she ever let us see. And she's still there now, as far as I know. She hasn't left him. God, I wonder if it's still happening. I hope she's okay.
We were together for about 2 years. What, more, 1 year and 9 months. We were living together for 8 months in his apartment. I wasn't on the lease. He didn't want me to be, but the apartment was good. It was near my work, so I could just walk to work, and that was good for him because he always needed my car. So yeah, he wasn't always he could do some really nice stuff. He could be sweet when he wanted to be, and I don't know, maybe that's why I stuck around for as long as I did, why I didn't leave. I should have seen that there was something really wrong in our relationship, that there was something really wrong with him.
And then I went to dinner with my sister and her boyfriend at the restaurant. Sorry. Yeah, she was actually the waiter of our table all night. But at the time, I didn't really think that much of it.
And then I got a message on Gumtree from a woman saying she was wanting to buy the record player. But she couldn't meet until later, sort of 10ish, because she had work or uni or something. It was the park. It's the park just across from the car park. So that was why I was there. That was why I was heading. But yeah, it wasn't for a little while, so I just waited.
I was running late for work, so I just jumped in my car, drove like a mad woman to work, found the first car park I could, and ran in through the door, basically right on 5:30.
I was, fiddling with the settings on the printing machine. It takes a while for these things to print, so I just was stood there. Oh, after I set it to print, I was just stood there, scrolling on my phone, not really paying attention to everything. And it felt like everything had worked out. Everything was perfect until it wasn't.
I saw her leave. I saw her say goodbye to one of the other workers at the restaurant. And she seemed happy. Like, I never would have guessed that anything was wrong.
I would have gotten to the car park at this point, so that would have made it like 10:15. I was just waiting in the car because the girl had wanted to meet in the park just over, but she was late, so I was just waiting.
I said goodbye to Kate, the other waitress, and I left. My shift was over, so I was looking into my handbag for my keys while I was walking into the car park, so I really didn't look up until I was like 10 feet away from the car, and he was there. He had been waiting.
I was feeling a little sleepy and I knew I had work the next morning, so I thought it might be a good decision that I leave the dinner and head home. So I said goodbye to my sister and her boyfriend, and I got up to pay the bill.
I got a text from my mum at about 10:15, and it said, "When are you coming home?" And I wrote back, "Soon," which I guess isn't true in the end.
I told him that he shouldn't be here, that he needed to leave me alone, and he asked me if I still loved him, and I couldn't answer that, so I just said to move away from my car, and he shouted, "You didn't answer the fucking question!"
I didn't hear them at first. There was something loud on the radio, and it wasn't until the song ended, then you couldn't miss it. There are different types of yelling. I've gotten pretty good at gauging the level of emotion behind a scream. It was a necessary tool growing up like I did. So that way you knew when not to worry or when to run to help or when to hide. Her shouts, I knew it was bad. So I got out of the car. That's when I saw them.
I left the restaurant and the dinner had gone really well, actually, but I was heading towards the car park, and that's when I heard these really loud shouts, and they were coming from a man.
He grabbed me and he just slammed me up against the car door and screaming that he was fucking sorry, and all I could do was scream back and say, "Let go!"
They were closer to me than I thought, only a couple of cars down. Honestly, I reckon I went into shock. He was screaming at him to let her go, to stop, and I don't know, I couldn't move. He landed a really bad blow to the left side of her face burn, I think.
I walked out into the car park and there was shouting. I was too far away to see what was really happening, but I could tell that there was 4 people and something just felt wrong. I didn't see when he hit her. I heard it and I didn't know what to do because I'd never actually seen someone hit another person before.
I scanned the car park, and that's when I saw a man and a woman, and they were obviously having an argument. So I called out, "Is everything okay?" And that's when I saw him lurch towards her.
He grabbed me by the hair, and that's when I hit the ground. I didn't feel it at first, and then the pain came right across my cheek, and I bloody hurt. I could barely breathe.
That's when she turned and looked at me. She didn't say anything. I honestly don't think she could have at that point, but apparently that was all I needed. All of a sudden I was moving. All of our bodies.
Dropped everything I was holding and I just rushed towards
Everything was happening.
Hey, somebody help! I knew I there was no one else around.
I was grabbing at all of it.
And I threw myself
Strong. There was more of us.
And then everything stopped.
And then people must have shown up.
They pulled us all apart and they got him to the ground.
And someone from the restaurant must have called 000 because all of a sudden you were there, sirens blaring.
You took him away. I don't know where.
Paramedics were on their way.
I tried to get up, then almost vomited. One of the girls told me I should probably sit back down. I must have nodded, or maybe I just stared at her, but either way, they all helped me and lowered me to the ground again. And then we just
the four of us.
And the four of us
sat together.
And the four of us sat
and waited.
in silence.
and we waited.
And we waited.
I don't know exactly when he's getting out, if he's getting out. They said that they would tell me, so yeah. You know, it could be any time. Like, he knows where I live, so. But it probably won't happen. He'll probably be locked up for a good while. So I'm fine. I'm not fine, obviously, but I will be fine. I'm gonna be okay. I will. Yeah, I will be okay.